Welcome to the Guaranteed Irish Business Podcasst, where each week we're joined by the amazing leaders of Guaranteed Irish member businesses to chat all things business, sustainability, buying Irish, promoting Irish jobs, community, provenance, and so much more. Sponsored by FBD Insurance, Ireland's largest homegrown insurer. Support. It's what we do.
Hello and welcome to the Guaranteed Irish Business Podcast. My name is Sean, standing in for Breed O'Connell this week, and joining me on today's episode is Leonie Lynch, founder of Juspy, a functional food company based in Limerick and a Guaranteed Irish member. Hi Leonie, thanks very much for coming into us today. How are you?
Not too bad.
You were up in Dublin for a show yesterday. Did you enjoy it?
Yes, we went to see Beauty and the Beast in Borgosh, so it was spectacular. The kids loved it. It was a beautiful production, yeah.
So Leonie, let's get straight into it. Juspy, you've said to us before a couple of times that the word kind of just came out of the ether. Tell us where the company came from and where the name Juspy originated from.
So the idea for the company sparked from an idea, a simple, you spot a problem, you go, oh, why isn't that there? And then you go, oh, I'll go on a 6-year journey and create it. So I was after my first baby, I was studying, I was tired, I was exhausted, I was teaching Pilates at the time. So I was kind of burning the candles at every end. And I was in my mum's house one day and she had a box of baby formula and it said everything your baby needs in one place. And I thought, oh God, I need one of that. I need that. So it was kind of the idea sparked from, tired, busy people need an all-in-one solution to get nourishment in. I couldn't find the exact one I needed or wanted because I knew about nutrition from studying as a Pilates instructor and being in the wellness industry. And then I said, sure, what else am I doing? I'll just go about and see if we can, tot up this recipe and do a bit of research, and it started from there. And then I actually developed the brand before the product, which is typical my fashion because I was studying brands, so I was obsessed with brands and what they were all about and the meaning and behind them. So Christmas 6 years ago, around this time 6 years ago, myself, my cousin and my brother, my cousin's a marketer and my brother is kind of in that industry as well, and we sat down and I pitched to them about everything I wanted the brand to stand for and what the ethos was and the values and the meaning behind the brand. So it was one of the first names we came up with actually was Enough, which was really cheesy at the time, but it was spelled like ENUF. It's a beer in America, and the trademark was gone. So the trademark was really important to me because, again, coming from the brand background, I wanted to be able to protect the brand if I was going to create a brand. So we let it kind of incubate over a few days, and we had a WhatsApp group. And my cousin texted and said, what about just be yourself, just be you. And I think it sounds like and beauticians, it's a bit holistic. It sounds like that, but I like the sentiment. And my brother, his little genius, just said, spell it phonetically. So we spelt it phonetically, and for some reason I picked the P instead of the B, so it was spelled just Juspy. Very good. So it's a bit of fun. It means something. It means something to me. It has a story behind it. I could get the 5letter.com and I got a trademark. Happy days, yeah. Like you said, that's the most important thing. It's much easier to promote yourself and your brand if you own kind of every aspect of it. So you're the founder of the company. And the name kind of just emerged. When you were going through the setup of the company, so obviously, like you said, you had the brand first. So what maybe like roadblocks, did you hit any like bumps in the road, I suppose, on the way to setting up the company? Did you like give up a full-time job to set up Juspy? What was the process of setup initially? How long have you got about all the bumps in the road at the startup? I'm sure you're used to them. At the time when I set up the business, so I just graduated. I did my PhD in UL. That was August, and I was like 6 or 7 months pregnant. So I was kind of thinking, this is the right time to do it because I'm not going looking for a graduate position or a job right now because I'll be having a baby in a couple of months. So if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this now. So I applied for New Frontiers. And got accepted onto the program, and then we started product development. So the bumps on the road were I didn't have a clue about food. That was the biggest challenge. So I remember one of the most embarrassing moments for me, just internally on my journey, was someone had advised me to go and see a professor in nutrition and food science in UL. And I had sat across the way from him and he said, what's the microbiological content of all the ingredients? And I just went, what? I had no idea.
In English, please.
Yeah, what that meant. And he kind of said, look, there's a guy down in Teagasc I want you to go talk to. So I went down to Teagasc and met Eddie O'Neill down there. And he, took pity on me and took me under his wing, and he taught me so much. So we developed the first product over a year and a half. So that was the first kind of big stumbling block. Was I thought I'd have a product in 2 months. I thought, sure, I know. So from my fitness background, I knew I wanted this to be high protein, have fiber in it. I needed essential fatty acids. I needed good fats in it. So I had laid out the recipe as I wanted it from a functional point of view. And then I went looking for ingredients that would match that function. And then I thought, oh yeah, sure, that just works. And then the microbiological content of the ingredients comes into play, because they turn food, they make it go off, they spoil it. It's a word I learned was mouthfeel. It changes the mouthfeel. So we had done, I think, about 15 kitchen trials down in Chagascan for Moy over a couple of months. By this stage, I had Robin in a sling going down to Chagas while I was doing kitchen trials. So it was such a long process, and I hadn't banked for that. So as I said, I thought I'd have brand, product, everything in the market, that it would be a super successful business in 6 months. I'm 6 years in now, and it's like taken off. So there was so many bumps in the road, but I suppose my naivety was the first one, not knowing what I know now about food, the legals around food, the FSAI, the claims, the nutritional benefits. Like if I'd known that stuff to begin with, it would be a different business and a different product, which is a good and a bad thing. If I knew what I knew now, I probably maybe would have sold just collagen on its own, because you can't make any claims about collagen, but it would be a thing on its own. I overcomplicated it by creating this multitasking all-in-one product that doesn't fit neatly in any category. So yeah.
Well, it's interesting you say that. So the product itself, the blend is a collagen and protein blend, which, as you say yourselves, is like the only one in the country. What is it about the collagen in your product that makes it so much different? What are the benefits of collagen? I think a lot of people, like myself included, might just only really know it as something you might like inject into your face there might be a negative connotation around that. So yeah. I suppose maybe dispel some of the myths for us and tell us what, because there's a lot of protein brands on the market, what exactly does make the Juspy product different to others? I
suppose I'll just go back, because of my background in the fitness and movement side of things, bringing out a protein brand would probably make more sense for me, because I could compete in that market. I know about it. From a personal point of view, I've never, ever been able to take protein powders because they taste awful. I'm a taste person. I grew up in a house where my kids now, it's all... we're obsessed with butter, salt and cream. That's what we grew up with and then we are so healthy, we love healthy food on the other side, but we would never ever trade that. So taste was number one, always was. So when I was training and teaching, I never was able to take whey protein because it upset my stomach. I didn't like the aftertaste of the plant proteins, and I just, when you don't like the taste of something, you end up going for the high protein bars, but they're full of everything else. So back in 2014, I had come across a term called biohacking, and it was a big American term, and it was all about kind of hacking your own body for better biology and for better life length. So the longevity kind of game. And then I had come across a brand called Bulletproof who sold collagen. So I got it in from the States, and there was no particular taste, no particular smell. I could blend it into smoothie, no problem. I was like, okay, great. That's the protein for me. So with collagen and with protein, there's so many different types of protein, and some of them have a full, complete amino acid profile, and some of them don't. So with the plant proteins, you kind of have to marry rice and pea together to get the full profile. And with collagen is a protein, but its function is a bit different to whey protein. So because I wasn't taking whey protein or anything for muscle recovery or to build muscle, the reason I became so interested in collagen was because I was a Pilates instructor, and everything that was about the ethos in Pilates is inside out. So strength inside out starts in the core, and it was all about ligaments, joints, the whole body as a one unit. So collagen is good for joints, bones, it's connective tissue. So we're basically made out of building blocks of collagen. We start to lose it from the age of 25, so we have to put it back in to keep it going. It keeps the skin elastic, your connective tissue, as I said, from a pre and postnatal point of view. The middle of your stomach is between your ribs. It's connective tissue that can stretch when you're pregnant. So again, the healing of that for female health, pelvic floor, it's so important, collagen, because again, it keeps the elasticity of the connective tissue so you can just function better. So it was for me, it was about all over health and well-being. And of course, what's an interesting one is you have a lot of American brands that claim a lot with collagen, right? And we can't here because of the European rules. But you have to kind of lend yourself that people are learning it through other brands, and I'm just stating that I sell collagen because it's so difficult. There's no authorized health claims in Europe. It's a growing trend, collagen, and people are becoming more and more familiar about it. So it'll probably take 5 to 10 years before the real benefits will be shown. But the collagen company I get it off, they have clinical trials for osteoporosis, gut health, skin, hair, nails is the obvious one that people kind of know it for. But for me, it was about the internal function of just keeping your body a bit better, that overall health and well-being, and the hair, nails and skin, and hopefully looking 20 when you're 85 well, is an added bonus. Yeah.
Very good. So you mentioned there that the industry itself around collagen as a product and like in, I suppose, society and the zeitgeist almost is still a couple of years away. So you're almost like at the startup level of it, which is great. And you've already won several awards already for your products. So tell us a little bit about that, and what does it mean for yourself on a personal level to be recognized for all the work you put in at the start to create something new, and to be recognized by these authorities, I suppose, on food and well-being.
It's funny because the first product, so when we started the business, it was a ready-made drink. It was in a 275ml bottle. I had bovine collagen in it, and I had that out for a year and a half. So I launched it in Wellfest 2018. I had it out till middle of 2019. That was a 30-day shelf life product, and that was the one that was developed in Fermoy, and it tasted like a Terry's chocolate orange, a melted Terry's chocolate orange. It was amazing, right?
That sounds good.
It was too early for market. The shelf life was too short for me to run the business, and nobody cared about collagen. I went to all the trade shows. They were interested in the cacao. They weren't interested in the collagen, and they couldn't understand why it was so expensive, because what's this thing called collagen? So the difference in perception and knowledge in 3 years is huge. Like when we launched the powder, so we stopped the fresh drink. From learning what I knew from talking to people, I changed from bovine to marine collagen for 2 reasons. One, if I mentioned bovine collagen to an Irish public, the faces that were made were really funny because it lends itself to bone broth and byproduct and waste product of a cow. It's a cheaper version of collagen. Marine collagen is way more expensive to buy, to sell, but it's more bioavailable, so it's a better collagen. So that was the reason there. Then you're dealing with the perception of, oh, what, there's fish in it? But so with the collagen, when you go out and buy it, there are about 10 grades I've come across, from very, very yellow, big grain, fish smelling collagen powder that you can buy. And the one I have, which is the highest grade, again, cost me 3 times more than the other one. But it has to be about taste. Taste was always number one. I did not want to smell fish. I did not want to taste fish. I wanted all the functional benefits, and that was the reason behind that. So now when I say marine collagen, people are understanding it. The fact that Jennifer Aniston is now a brand advocate for one of the biggest collagen brands in America, Vital Proteins, is a help, because she's promoting it on my behalf. But we're an Irish brand, and we're the only one that's doing it with the protein blend. So yeah, it's really interesting, the progression of perception. But then again, the reason I paid for it, and the good one, we won a Great Taste Award. So even though it's the best one, I still wouldn't put plain collagen in my coffee, or I still wouldn't put plain collagen in my smoothie. So we blended it with 11 other amazing ingredients for the taste. And then we won the Great Taste Award last year for that. So that was huge for me. It was that was a proud moment, and I don't usually take stock of things that happen because you're too busy. But that was the one that I'm proud of. Yeah.
So it sounds like you're really kind of as much making the product for yourself and then selling it to everyone else, which I think is a good lesson for maybe other people looking to start up their own business, whatever it might be, whether it's creating a food product or candles or I don't know, setting up a gym. You should really set it up for what you like, what's good for you, rather than creating something that you just think might sell. Because I feel like a lot of people do that, and it does, but they can't really talk about their product or their service with such passion that you can, which I think is absolutely fantastic.
There's a good and a bad with that, right? And I try and step back from it a lot because I'm completely biased then.
Well, yeah.
So if I make this for myself, I'm like, no, everybody's not like you. So, you know, and I remember Eddie saying that to me as well. The palates are so different. You have the sweet and the savory spectrum, and you're either towards one end or the other. I'm way chocolate sweet. Like that's, as I said, I have such a sweet tooth. So what I think is not sweet is so sweet to somebody else. So that was really important in the product development because we had to find the happy medium, where the first drink, the Terry's Chocolate Orange one, was I'd say like an acquired taste, almost like you either love it's Marmite, you either love or hate chocolate orange. So, you know, that was a learning. This one is so much, it's like a Kinder Bueno. It's so palatable, like it's soft, it's not overpowering. You can do what you want with it. So to be able to find that balance and take yourself out of it and tweak it based on customer feedback. Like definitely, I think it's a good starting point because I'm a critic when it comes to taste.
But be open to feedback and constructive criticism as well.
Yeah. Like you have to. If someone, I remember the very first trial we put out because we wanted to launch in March 2020 and then COVID happened, so we ended up doing it in October. So what I ended up doing between that was doing two consumer trials. So I sold 100 packs to two groups of people and took their feedback on board. So through packaging and through messaging, but one of them was the sweetness. So we took down the coconut sugar a little bit based on that. And now we think we found that where the taste is completely masked for the marine collagen and it's soft enough for people on both sides of the savoury sweet.
That sounds fantastic because I know like even in my own house, I love sweet things. I love chocolate orange, for example. That sounds absolutely delicious. And I love mint chocolate. And my girlfriend hates both. She can't even sniff mint chocolate. But she can't touch it. So like the protein that she would drink is just vanilla. The more overpowering the taste, the more she really struggles. I think she'd love the kind of Kinder Bueno-y taste. So I think I'll definitely tell her to invest in a pack of Juspy.
And it's funny just to add to that. Every so often, like when I had the Terry's Chocolate Orange one, they would say, "Oh, do you have any other flavors?" And it's interesting being in a food business, but more the functional food and the nutrition side, because it is a supplement. People ask you for flavors all the time. And they say, oh, you know, and you go, oh my God, do you know how much a minimum order of this packaging is? And I'm barely, you know, I have to, every time you want a flavor, that's about another 20 grand investment that I don't have. So I go, yes, in the future, hopefully, but very small amount will say, I don't like chocolate, I like vanilla. I've maybe, it must be 3% of the population that don't like chocolate that I've come across, you know, so all in good time. But
chocolate is a safe bet.
Chocolate is a safe bet.
Very much so. So Christmas is right around the corner. What are your plans for Christmas for Juspy? What does, I suppose, the Christmas rush look like for you?
Well, for me, it's all like, and it's a term I learned in college is co-creation and collaboration. So I totally love the idea of that. And, because, you know, you go through the year and you're trying to sell one product and you're kind of like, what can I offer at Christmas that's a little bit different? And, you know, the weather's colder and Juspy's lovely warmed up as hot chocolate. So I ended up contacting Lisa Wilson. She's a pottery maker down in Kinsale. So we're doing a collab for Christmas gift boxes with Juspy, these beautiful orange or blue ceramic 400ml mugs. And this rose gold stainless steel scoop that is so handy for the pack to serve it. So that's what we're doing for Christmas. Something simple, just one. Again, I'm all about one thing. As you can see, like another question I get asked all the time is, you know, what's the next product? What's the next product? What's the next product? And there's this great book I read, but the name evades me, of course, right this second. But it's all about, you have one product, right? So if you want to get into supermarkets, you need another SKU, and one product is very lonely on the shelf. But actually, I want to build this with collaborations with other people and get people to know this product before I can do another one.
Yeah, and I mean, I know he's not the most popular figure in the world right now, but that's kind of exactly what Elon Musk did with Tesla. Obviously on a much bigger scale, but he had the one sports car that was at the time extremely expensive, and everyone thought, oh, make cheaper cars. That you're like, let me bed this one in first, and then that worked, and then he came with the bigger car, and then and had one car at a time. It's only now 20 years later that they have 4 or 5 models. Exactly. And even a company as massive as Tesla took that amount of time to build up to having more than one product on the shelf, for want of a better term.
And I always say, I mean, Coke did it, Red Bull did it. They had the one product, and it annoys people that are trying to, what more have you got? Are you one hit wonder? But it's not about that. It's not about scaling quickly, and it's not about offering 10 products, because all you're doing is splitting your customer base. For sure. And like the case study the guy used in the book was Budweiser, Bud Light. When they brought out Bud Light, they didn't get new customers. They just halved the one that was there. Budweiser, so it's not necessarily the smartest move. Like for me personally, like it wouldn't be to risk the company's functioning to just bring out other products. I have 10 in my head. I have 2 of them pretty much developed, but it's not the right time. So by collaborating and doing things like that, because I studied the Orla Kylie brand for my PhD, and what they did was they did about 10 collaborations a year. So it's like picking the 10 people that match your brand, match your brand values. I'm an art school graduate, so my degree's in fine art. So that's always in play. And with I did ceramics for a term in college, and she did, Lisa, makes ceramic mugs, and they're beautiful and they're arty, and, they're a piece, and they're an art piece. So I like the fact that I can collaborate with a functional food company.
Brilliant.
It's interesting.
So moving into 2023 then, any more collaborations or not to ask you the question that everyone asks you, but are there any new products that you think might make the shelf in 2020, the next 12 months?
Yeah, like I have it ready about a year, and I'd love to get it out at some point next year, probably middle to end. It's called Juspy Childish. So the people that buy Juspy, the kids keep robbing it, because it tastes so nice, but it's too expensive for kids, and kids don't need collagen. So it's basically it's a version of for kids, and again it's playful. It's that's the working title, is Just Be Childish. So we have the packaging designed and everything. It's just about pressing play in it, and it's funny. I've been told by I think 4 different advisors, it's not going to work. We've tried the kids market, or the kids market's too hard to crack. I'd be stubborn enough to go, I'll show you. Now I'm open enough to say it mightn't work, but just from the insights from people who are giving my stuff to the kids, it might just work.
So would it still be like a protein blend?
Yeah.
What else would be in it other than?
I can't tell you that.
Okay. I was trying to squeeze an exclusive out of you.
Yeah, can't do that.
Well, we look forward to that being on the market. For Christmas, you're a mother yourself. How are you going to balance the work-life balance, running a business and doing a big collaboration like that over Christmas?
Yeah, let me tell you about my life right now. We sold our house in May. We've been living with my parents since May because we're waiting on our Reno bungalow to be ready. I'm due a baby in 8 weeks. So
that'd be a nice Christmas present.
Life is chaos. So how do I, and the business as well. What I did was, when I found out I was pregnant this time, I hired someone.
Oh, very good.
My first hire.
Congratulations.
So it actually forced me to do what I'd been avoiding for 3 years. I was too scared to do it. So with the help of the Leo, we have Sinead on, and Sinead is amazing. And I'm hoping, Sinead's now my soundboard. Sinead's up here in Dublin side. So Sinead's thankfully doing some tastings, helping me. We got listing with Macaulay's Pharmacy online. So Sinead was doing some launches with them last week. So just to be able to have someone to do the outside stuff, like just because I'm having a baby doesn't mean my brain isn't going to work. So I'll be at home with the computer doing what I always do. I've done it through 2 pregnancies. I started the business with the first one, and I was studying and writing out my thesis to the first one, and the second one was the business. So the third one, I'm kind of used to chaos. That's how I live. But I'm just going to see what happens and keep going. But having someone there is going to be a godsend. I
have to say, it's very inspirational that you've set up a business straight out of college with 3 kids, nearly 3 young kids. It's very, very impressive, and congratulations on the success you've had so far with it.
Do you know what? It's funny. It's not something that I'd see as to be commented on, as in I'm not impressed by it myself. It was more survival. It was like, there's no good time to have a baby. Someone told me that 100 years ago. So you just get on if it's there. And it's funny because I'm trying to raise investment. I was having investment conversations, and I was like, full disclosure, I'm pregnant again. And you have to, because it's it's part of life. It's part of the stage I'm at in my life. And I read a book years ago called Lean In, Sheryl Sandberg, and she was commenting on that women in a certain life stage lean out of work and don't go for opportunity because they want to have a family, or they're gonna they're in that stage. And I read that before I had any kids, and I remember at the time like that, when I graduated 7 months pregnant, and I was like, well, no good time, let's start it and see what happens. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, you can just stop. Did
you experience any pushback? You were saying that you were mentioning to speak to like investors and stuff like that, and say, "No, I'm pregnant again." What was the reaction? Was there like, "Oh, we can't invest right now. You'll be gone for 9 months," kind of thing? Was there a bit of pushback?
No, it was kind of, I think I made more of a big deal of it in my head than they did. As I said, conversations are still ongoing, but there was no running away or anything like that. It was how are you, and what's things going. I'm sure you would have to be human nature tentative, acknowledging that you don't know what's going to happen when the baby comes. Hopefully it's a good child and it'll sleep and all that, but if it doesn't, or thank God I've had a healthy pregnancy, and hopefully everything else will go right. The kids are 9 and 6 now as well, so they're kind of grown up and self-sufficient. So
I'm sure they think so anyway.
Yeah, but that's great, because you're not like, it would be a different story if I had
3 toddlers,
303 or something like that. I was 9 when my brother was born, so I pretty much reared it with my sister, who was 11, and my mother, of course. But it's different, the ages they're at, and like, we'll be in the new house hopefully in 2 weeks. So I'm expecting an awful lot of calm in 2023, because 2022 was insane. Yeah.
Well, I hope for some calm for you. That sounds like a very, very busy year. I want to move on to sustainability. Obviously, a very important thing for Guaranteed Irish and all Guaranteed Irish members. So tell us about your own kind of sustainability journey and how it plays a part in everything you're doing at the moment.
So the first thing I'd say is, for a startup, managing customers' expectations around sustainability is very challenging, because you're trying to get a business off the ground. You're trying to just sell a product. The powder is the product, but the powder has to go in a certain type of packaging. So ideally, I remember when I started looking at the powder, I had gotten samples from all around the world for compostable packaging, biodegradable packaging, and recyclable packaging. And I'd done so much research into that, and you're faced with 2 challenges, mainly with the type of food product that I have. One is shelf life. So if you go for the very, very sustainable packaging, it's porous and the product can go off. So I've gone from a 30-day shelf life of hell to a 12-month shelf life, which is the dream. And then if I was to give that up, and the production runs are so expensive with collagen, that you're risking food waste and you're risking going out of business, because the cost versus being able to sell while you're building the brand and the product with customers. So that's the first challenge. And then it's the second one is, if you found the perfect packaging, right, that ticked all the sustainable boxes and gave you the shelf life, your manufacturer mightn't be able to fill it, because they don't have the machines to suit that actual pouch or the tub. And it's so funny, because I wouldn't have known this as a consumer. I know it now from dealing with it, but what you want to do and what's actually available to you is 2 different things completely. So that's a work in progress. We worked on the Green for Micro program with the Leo in Limerick, and that's consultancy, doing a complete audit of your business from a sustainability point of view. So I have a roadmap and a plan with that, which is great. Being more transparent about promoting where the ingredients come from, and the processes there. The packaging, as I said, is an ongoing thing. And it's funny, because when I wanted to launch this product, it was supposed to be in a cardboard tube, beautiful, like tall, gorgeous tube, outrageously expensive, because we were going to get it from China. Then COVID happened, so to look for that packaging in Europe was, I think, about 8 times the price.
Wow.
So you go from, you pay $3.50 a tub for packaging to what we pay for the pouch. Again, it comes down to, I'm on my own, I'm starting a business, I have to get this out there.
And it's a competitive market at the best of times.
And packaging taste had to be number one, because you build the brand, you build the taste, you get the reputation. Then you can look at, when the company is profitable or there's cash flow there, you can look at things like that better. So that's why for now it's kind of like, apologies, we're working on it, but look, we got this. I don't put a scoop in every pack. I made that decision from the very start. I hate constant plastic spoons and packs. So what we did in that consumer research bit with the 100 people was, I did have a plastic spoon in it to see their reaction to it, and people were annoyed at the powder in their hand because they were putting the plastic. So I asked them to send me videos of them using it. It was really funny to see them get annoyed. So what we did then, we have these beautiful stainless steel scoop pegs that you click onto the pack that you can get, and they're sustainable, they're steel, you're never going to throw them out, they're there in the pack. The peg is amazing because they just stay on the pack, you always know where it is.
Very good idea.
But until we had those, what I had on the back of the pack was 3 tablespoons is a serving, because everyone has a tablespoon. So it wasn't the plastic thing. And then the last thing I'd say about the sustainability side of things is, again, coming from my studies around movement, my sustainable development goal is number 3, which is health and well-being. So while it's not your typical, sustainable packaging, what we're doing to the earth, it's the people I'm looking at. So how can you make people more sustainable and live longer and feel better? It's through what they eat and what you fuel your body around. So that's more natural. Like if I'm trying to be authentic about it, I haven't figured out the other side, but this I could talk all day long on, what your healthy habits should be, how you create healthy habits, how you, we're in the longer term game of health. We're not in immediate gains. It's about, feeling good over time. And also, like, again, it's something that's really important to me is black and white ideas of health. Like you were saying, McDonald's isn't the best way to feel good about yourself, but actually in some ways it can be, because you can't be rigid and controlling with your food and what you're eating all the time, because that leads to its own problems. So having that, blowout, and like my ethos has always been move as much as you eat. So if you want to, like, go mad, go out on the tear, have whatever you want, just have it. Don't deny it, have it. But then move as much as you've just done there, and you balance things out. So I'm kind of, I don't like the black and white thinking around health. It's there's too much to do. So if you go, okay, you have to get up at 6, you have to meditate, you have to write in your journal, then you have to do and have your lemon water, then you have to have your green juice and your green, like that's not.
And that's been the messaging from a lot of people for the past couple of years, is that this is the only way to be healthy and be good.
About 5 years, I reckon. Like I was teaching Pilates. I started in 2010, and I remember people coming into my class in jeans, because yoga gear as lifestyle clothing wasn't a thing. I remember teaching classes and people coming in with like 4 protein bars just to lose weight, and you're kind of going, oh my god, the messaging is so bad. So it was, I think I was supposed to take protein I don't know why, but people are telling me to take protein, I think I can lose weight with it or whatever. And again, it's the attitude around life is for living, life is for having fun. You should enjoy food. And just move anyway at all. And around the movement, this isn't nothing to do with food, but you have to identify a movement program or a thing that you like, because if you don't, you won't stick to it. It's the same with supplements. If I bought a collagen protein powder on its own, or collagen powder on its own, I would take 1 scoop. There's my €40 gone down the drain, because I would put that pack in the shelf
and never touch it again.
12 months later, it's out of date, I throw it out. And I have so many supplements that I would do that with, because I'm told I have to take my iron and my this and my that and my that and so with Juspy, like, we've done all that work. Like ashwagandha on its own is, you buy a bag of it, a 500 gram bag, it's €20. You use a half a teaspoon, that's all you need. So again, it's the shelf life, it's going off, it's food waste, it's so pointless when you can just it's all in. So that kind of, have your McDonald's, no problem. Don't go there every day.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
didn't go today.
And I hate the word balance as well, because I think that puts pressure on you to, if I'm not balancing, I'm failing. So the messaging is all around, if I'm not doing this big to-do list with health, I'm failing. Actually, you're not. Anything you do is better than what you don't. But just find stuff that you like to take, that it's not a chore to take.
For sure.
Yeah.
One final question then, something we like to ask everyone, especially at this time of year. We're trying to encourage everyone to put the G under the tree for Christmas. So when you're doing your own shopping, is that something that comes into your own mind on a personal level, to buy local, to go maybe to the local town street rather than the big shopping centre out of town?
I'll give you an example where I did this recently, and it wouldn't have always been a natural thing for me until I had my own business. And also there's a friend of mine, she's big into shopping local, Rachel, and when I was buying a dishwasher recently for the house, and I searched online, and I would be a big online person because for time and everything like that, and I actually just thought I'd come across a local supplier of this dishwasher, but they were 50, 100 euros more expensive, and I said, you know what, I'm actually going to ring them and see if they'll match the price, because I prefer to buy local. So I rang them and they said, yeah, sure, no problem, we'll match it. And I was delighted because I was able to give the business to a local supplier rather than getting it, paying for delivery, paying for shipping, getting it from a warehouse, God knows where, just for, so it's
for the sake of a 10 or 20 quid, 50 quid.
You're kind of grappling with, I'm trying to save money wherever I can, and things are cheaper online. But, I would ring up a local supplier and say, look, I'm not being cheeky. I'm doing this for genuine purposes. I'd love to give you the business rather than someone else. So I think from every category you can do that with. I mean, not that you can go up and ring every category, but I mean, it's good to be aware of it. And definitely like that, the G symbol, or you're looking for something that, you have an appreciation how hard it is to run a small business. It's so hard.
Which I don't think a lot of people, I think most people don't appreciate that, how difficult that is.
Yeah, it's relentless. You're never off. Like 4:00 this morning, I woke up and you're thinking about something to do with, I'm in the Kerry Group Christmas market tomorrow. So you're going, oh, do I have my pull-up? Do I have this? Do I have this? Do I have this? Oh, I'm going to be wrecked because I'm going to be standing on my feet all day. Why aren't you sleeping? Because it's 4:00 in the morning. You're thinking about pull-ups. So you're just never off. So. Yeah,
I think that's a good message to maybe leave people with, is that, do support local this year, whether it's that you just go straight in or talk to them, because as a small business owner, just getting business in is what's most important, especially coming up to Christmas.
And I think the most important thing is, please remember there's a human behind the business. Like, while I spend so much time, I remember like developing the brand, and I wanted it to look bigger than it was, which is also a detriment because people think Juspy is an American brand or an English brand, because I would refuse to put my face on the back of pack, which they recommend for food because it's about the story of the person. Remember, there is a person. So when you leave a Trustpilot review, or when you leave feedback, or you email someone, it comes straight to me. I'm the only person answering the emails. So if someone's annoyed about something, I don't care. I rang someone last week and went, can we just actually chat about, getting the product to you rather than email, because, there's a detachment there, but there's a human behind the computer, behind the product, that spent 24 hours a day for the last 6 years developing this business. So just talk to me if you have a problem and we'll sort it out. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Everything is figure-outable. That's Kate from Dusty Boy Design's best phrase. Everything is figure-outable. So remember that. That's
an easy one to remember, yeah. Well, we will leave it at that. Thank you so very much for coming in and chatting to us today, Leonie. It's been absolutely brilliant chatting to you. And thank you all very much for listening. If you want to check out Juspy products for yourself, they're available right now on guaranteedirishgifts.ie. The link is in the show notes below. We'll be back next week with another fantastic Guaranteed Irish business member to chat to. Thanks again, Leonie.
No problem. Thank you. Happy Christmas.
And happy Christmas to you.
The Guaranteed Irish Business Podcast, sponsored by FBD Insurance, Ireland's largest homegrown insurer. Support. It's what we do.